What's going on, Yu-Gi-Oh community? Joe Paladin back here with another vlog video. I know it has been a very long time since I've done a vlog video, but today we are going to be heading over to locals at Paladins with my cousin Danny. We are very excited to be playing because I am going to be piloting a new deck with Crystal Beast combo, not Conclave, but combo deck. And my cousin Danny is going to be playing a Vernasil Madolce with a couple of cards in there. It's a mixture of cards. It's actually really cool. I hope I get to see how his deck performs, and I am very excited. I haven't been here in over a month, so I'm itching to play some Yu-Gi-Oh, and I am curious to see how well this deck can do. When I did play it one time, I did not record, unfortunately, the matches, and it performed very well, at least, but I didn't play against like Tearlament or like Sprite, or maybe I did Sprite, but I'm not sure how that's going to go, so I am very curious to see how well this is. And I'm pretty sure since it's tier limit, we might get into the time thing. So I'm debating like running Neko Mono King as well, or I think I put in Spooky Dogwoods into the side deck as well, just in case. But I do not have a Gaga Cowboy. Hopefully that does not like come into play where like, oh, I could have used that to like get game. But we'll just have to see how it goes. And yeah, so we already signed up. We are just waiting for the tournament to start. I believe there's like, right now it looks like very small amount of people, but I'm not sure. I think like maybe 8 players, 6 or 8. I'm not sure. There's some people in the lobby, but anyways, I am very excited, and we are hoping to do well. I'm hoping to do well, and I might play the deck more. Just depends how I feel today. I do miss playing my heroes, and because I've been test playing with the Crystal Beast like at my home and everything for like over a month now. So I'm like, do I just want to go back to my heroes instead of Crystal Beast? Maybe. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, let's get back in there and hope for the best for the tournament. So for round 1, we are playing against a Tearlament Albaz Ishizu deck, and my opponent is just going off, and I'm just sitting there with no hand traps whatsoever. So my opponent is going to be ending a board with the Mirror Jade, as well as I think Kalos. I could be wrong. I'm still not very familiar with all the Tearlament cards, so I'm still like getting used to these. So my opponent sets up those 2 monsters, and then also has that spell card. So I activate Rainbow Bridge to get a search, and like I am trying to go into my combo build, which is what the deck is trying to do. So I'm trying to set up my Rainbow Overdragon, and I do get pretty far with the combo. Honestly, I think I do pretty well until like my opponent has like the negates and all the stuff, and I did not have Ruby Carbuncle in the deck, unfortunately, because I actually ended up drawing that card. So I'm just trying to play off as much as I can here, and I did actually have Rainbow. I did have the Ultimate Crystal card, spell card in my hand, so I summoned Ruby from my hand, unleashed all the Crystal Beasts in my spell and trap zone, but my opponent did have the Shizu cards in his graveyard, so he was able to bounce 3 from my graveyard back into my deck, so that put me in a very tough position. And then he also banished my Dagaris before I can even use its effect, so I'm just like, yeah, let's just go into a 3 negate Apollosa, because that's really all I could do, and my opponent has just like better options here. So really, my opponent's just gonna set up more plays, and then I'm just gonna like scoop it at this point, because it's like there's nothing I can really do with this, and that's becomes the issue with the tier limit strategies, because they can manipulate my graveyard. I can't have 7 Crystal Beasts, and it's just a little bit tougher. And like I'm trying to play here, but it's just not really going to work out so well. And you'll see that as he is really setting up a playboard here. And yeah, I just scooped it up from there. So game 2, I go first, and here this is where I actually do a little bit better, but it's more like I set up a play to go into my Baguska, and I actually had Necro Valley in my hand because of the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation I sent from my deck to the graveyard. So that was really it. I really set up that turn, and my opponent just really couldn't do anything. So I'm just like setting card after card, which was like D barriers, I believe, and my opponent is just like summoning monsters in defense, so that's all really he could do. And I kind of messed up by summoning Baguska back to attack mode after the last material was detached, because now my opponent could go off a little bit. And I'm just like, why did I switch it to attack mode? That was my bad. But I did have Sapphire Pegasus in my hand, so I was kind of thinking, maybe I could get the effect of it at least. So that was my thought process, but it was a bad call on my part. So I'm just trying to like set up monsters I can at least try to attack and do some damage with. But unfortunately, I messed up because the spell card reduced all my monsters' attack points by 500. I messed up on that one badly. So then became my opponent's turn. I activated the D barrier, so he just he had all boss. He activated the brand diffusion. I did the D barrier, and that was kind of funny. Then I went into my Nightmare Unicorn to get rid of that continuous spell card. Can't remember the name of it. So I just like don't really have. It's like a very slow grind game because I had another D barrier, and I just kept activating D barrier after D barrier when he tried to use the brand diffusion. I thought that was hilarious. We kept talking about that after the tournament, and it was interesting, and my opponent did pop my Necro Valley, but I think I eventually do get it back somehow. Oh yeah, normal summon Ruby Carbuncle, but Unfortunately, I do not have a access code talker, and that's what my opponent thought I was going to do. So I did not have that. He bounced back 3 from my graveyard back to my deck, and it was just like a little slow, grindy game. I just summoned out a Nightmare Griffin. Oh yeah, and then I brought back Necro Valley because of its effect. So I activated Necro Valley again, and then just from there, I was just able to like at least try to set up monsters like afterwards because my opponent, I kept attacking his monsters. I had the Crystal Bond, added Root Sapphire, and I summoned like another Sapphire and just pressed for damage, and it got me game 2. So we'll go to game 3, and unfortunately, it doesn't really matter because time got called. So this ended up becoming a draw, and my opponent thankfully did not have a God Cowboy, so at least I would not have taken any damage. But yeah, it ended up being a draw for game 1 for round 1.
Yeah.
There's 12 people, so it should be 4 rounds.
For round 2, I'm playing against TheRelaxed Shizu. Yay! So again, not gonna go through all the cards here, but my opponent is just like going off at the very least. I believe he, I can't remember exactly what he ends off with, but he does have a really good setup, and I just like. Okay, I do lose cards from my top of my deck as well. So my opponent now knows I am playing Crystal Beast. So he got a little bit of advantage of knowledge right there. My opponent is just like, he's very crafty. This is my buddy Augie, and he is really good when he plays a deck. And he's like really going through his plays, making sure, what the options he has and everything like that. And I respect that. I really liked his... Every time I duel him, it's a very interesting game. So my opponent, yeah, there we go. He has the Beatrice, the Time Thief, Kit Kalos, and... the other one, I can't remember. I think that's Kit Kalos. And so I do the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation because it is a trap card. So I add the Necro Valley and the Sapphire Pegasus. And then I'm just like trying to figure out what on earth can I do, because he does use the Time Thief Redoer and takes a Foolish Burial Goods from the top of my deck. And yeah, he does some other plays there. And I'm just like, okay, let me just... I'm just going to try to do something here because I don't think I had a really great hand. So I did that. I added the Rainbow Bridge of the Heart, and I had that, but my opponent just has so many plays to do. That's the thing about the Shizu TheRelaxed decks, is that they can just play during my turn. It just becomes like it's not gonna really amount to much anyways though. So like I have nothing, honestly. I just really had nothing. I was just hoping I could bank off of that Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, that Rainbow Bridge, but I had the Crystal Bond, not really gonna do too much there. My opponent just stops all my plays. I had Necro Valley, and I'm just like, okay. There's not going to be anything I could do here at this point because he just interrupted like all my plays, all my strategies, and I just like could not even come out with a Baguska, and I'm just like, yeah, let's wrap it up. So game 2, I go first, and then I had a better hand. It's kind of going to be a Baguska, I believe, and Baguska is just like becoming really good at this point. I think I summoned out Baguska. Actually, I can't remember if I actually did or did not. But I think I was trying to go into Baguska, but then I realized I think I could do a little bit more, and I had to like the Crystal Beacon, summon out Ruby, summon out the 2 from back row. I'm trying to go into the big combo play. Yeah, that's actually what happened. So then I'm trying to set up the 7 Crystal Beasts, and then try to go into like the theoretical end board is where you have a 3-negate Apollosa with an IP Masquerena and a Rainbow Dragon Overdrive with a 11,000 attack points. And that's really what I'm trying to do here. And I'm trying to be like very cautious here because I don't know if he has any cards in his hand, but more than likely, he never did because he never activated anything. So then I'm just like going through my plays. I'm like, okay, let's set this up. Summon out my Apollosa, going to IP Masquerena, and summoning out my Rainbow Dragon, Ultimate Crystal Rainbow Dragon Overdrive with 11,000 attack points. And this is the ideal end board that you kind of want to end with. And I was like very happy that I was able to do it. So my opponent is just like going through some stuff, and I'm like I negated it with the Apollosa. I think I negated one with Apollosa, and I kind of messed up on that because that made it weaker. So he goes into the battle phase afterwards, and he attacks my IP Masquerena and attacks my Apollosa. I'm like, yeah, I kind of messed up on that one, didn't I? So then we go to main phase 2. My opponent is just like looking what can he do because I still have the Rainbow Dragon's effect alive to bounce back everything. So I did that, bounce back to everything, summoned out all the Crystal Beasts I did. And from that, my opponent scooped. So game 2, game 3, we go into it, but it doesn't matter because time does get called. And we have yet another draw, bringing my record to 2 draws throughout the tournament. And it's really annoying and very unfortunate, too, that these matches take that long.
I have this. I'm playing workout.
So you're running more than Infinities, right? You're running like...
All right, 3 fingers, 3 unicorns, and 2 ogres.
Okay.
For the third and final round, we're playing against our buddy Dwayne, and he is piloting Sprite, and I got the die roll, so I'm going first. I'm trying to set up some kind of place here. Like, what can I realistically set up? And usually I try to go into, like, the Baguska play if I don't know anything or if I don't have a decent hand setup. So I'm just, like, summoning out these monsters, and I think I do go into the Baguska. I keep looking back at my extra deck, like, do I just go with that? Yes, I do, and I'm going to go to my Baguska because that's really, I had like kind of a bad hand, and I believe I passed, and my opponent has the infinite permanence during his turn, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. So he negates my Baguska, and then from there, he just proceeds to go off. He adds the starter, summons out blue, uses blue effect, search jet, or no, I think it was red. I think he had the jet in his hand already. So he summoned out jet, get a search. I think he adds, oh, yeah, he has the new trap card, I believe, from Darkwing Blast that has, like, 3 effects or whatever, or you choose one of them. And he's going into, like, the newer cards I haven't really seen from Darkwing Blast yet, so I had to, like, read it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So he sends the Nimble monster, and he summons out 2 from his deck, and then he goes to the Gigantic, and he's going off. I have no hand traps, so I don't play hand traps in the combo version build. I don't even have any of the, what do you call it, the Bestials. So, you know, my opponent's just going off here, and he is summoning out the Sprite Elf, going into Totally Awesome. He has the Gigantic. I think Gigantic stays out on the field, and then I'm just like, okay, yeah, Battle Phase, he attacked all of it, and I draw, I activate Rainbow Bridge to try to get a search. I don't know if he was going to do anything to, like, stop that, and he does not, and I search out the Crystal Bond so I can at least set up some kind of play. I don't even know what I could do at this point because my opponent had, like, some interruptions, and I just searched out Sapphire, and I think I put the Rainbow Crystal. Oh, no, I put Eagle. I think Rainbow was in my hand. It might have been in my hand or something. And I summoned out that monster, attempted effect to place it in my Spell and Trap zone, and we kind of had, like, a little, like, what's the ruling question here? So we actually had to ask our buddy because I think it... Totally Awesome destroys the monster, and I'm wondering if it goes to the Spell and Trap zone, and if it does, he takes the monster. Does it become a monster? Does it become a Spell Trap zone? Or, you know, it was kind of like an interesting interaction, and even our buddy Augie didn't really quite know about it, but I think we use a reference to pendulums, so yeah, I think it just summoned back as a monster, so we went with that one instead. It was like, okay, cool. So that was an interesting interaction that happened right there. That was actually quite cool. And yeah, my opponent just had, like, better setups. I mean, I think from there that just, like, stopped all my plays, and I scooped it from there. So game 2, I go first. I activate the Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. I actually open that card up, and I'm like, summon out additional normal my Sapphire Pegasus, but he negates it with the Infinite Permanence. I'm like, dang it. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to summon out Amber Mammoth because I did have another one. And then I think I can't remember if I overlaid them. No, I think I was compiling. Yeah, okay. I linked them into the Wind Charmer, and I actually have Secret Village of the Spellcaster, so my opponent can't play any spell cards. And then, like, my opponent is just, like, trying to go. I had D-Barrier so I can stop his XC summoning, so I was like, he's trying to maybe go into the Gigantic, but I negated that, prevented him from doing that. And my opponent is just like, I think he searched out Smashers. Was that Smashers? I can't remember. And I didn't get a good look at it. And my opponent does link him off into, I think, Elf? No, Dark Charmer, maybe? No, I don't remember what he links off right here. He's looking through his extra deck pretty quickly, and, oh, yeah, he summons out the one that dumps, and he sends the Nimble. That's right. He sends the Nimble, summons out the 2 Nimbles, and then he can't go into Totally Awesome, so he links all 3 of them into Nightmare Unicorn. Uses the effect, bounces my Wind. Now I can't activate any spell cards, and he just proceeds to attack me directly. I just set 1, pass. I'm just like, yeah, my opponent's more than likely going to get this, and I just could not do anything. And my opponent does end up getting this game, and I'm just like, yeah, he's going to get... I think he goes into Access Code Talker here, and I was just like, yeah, this is not really the best matchup here. I just could not draw great, honestly. So my opponent's just going to go off here a little bit, and then he will go into the Access Code Talker, I believe, to have, like, for like a 5300 Access Code Talker. He gets all his priority sets in. Yeah, he summons out the Access Code Talker, and then that's just it. I was like, yep, that's it. So my record ended up becoming like 1 loss and 2 draws, and that was very unfortunate, but still fun, I guess. But yeah, that was the result.
The way it gets me.
Man, I'm done. Let's get it. I got 3? Damn, she. Holy shit. What the fuck?
Hey, who's trying to play for packs?
Oh!
Yeah.
Another one? Just give it to me, dude.
Hey, dog, that's pretty crispy.
Hey, bro, looks like you're getting paid out.
Nice.
I'm a real winner today, dude.
Yeah?
That's two.
You pulled both of them.
Actually, I'm gonna use this Yeah.
You can take whatever you want.
Any?
That's crazy.
This one has all the cherry watch.
I got the cherry, baby.
Draw face. I pulled it last Saturday.
After the tournament, me and Danny had a little bit of a quick match after everybody was gone, and we opened up our packs, and this is kind of how it went.
You can special summon as many Katzuki cards from your spawn traps on us.
Oh, he's got the
I was like, God. No shot. I'm not letting that happen.
Shut up.
Next time, I think I'm going to play a little bit more advanced.